Hi, it's Danny here. I am going to try and work through a few steps that um, uh, convert BAM files to bigwig files. So the BAM files are from RNA sequence reads that we have been using for a HiSat tutorial. We're going to take these BAM files and convert them to bigwig files, which are useful for visualizing on the UCSC genome browser. So there's several steps. I'm going to try to work through each of them and kind of explain as I go. Okay, so first I'm just going to show you in my folder here. This is the directory that I've been doing all this work in. So some of the previous videos that I've made were to create this BAM file right here. But what we want to end up generating are these bigwig files. They're going to have a BW as their file type. And so to get from BAM to bigwig, though, there's a few steps that we have to take in between. So one thing I've done, and this is for mostly just reminding myself, because every time I've done this now, I've had to go back and find internet forums that have the information. Anyways, this is just a text file I'm saving. I should just write it out so that I could automate it, just run all of these in a single batch command. But anyhow, the first step is we need to actually convert our BAM file to a bed file. And that requires a program or a set of programs in this bed tools. And that's something you'll need to download online if you just Google bed tools. I don't know if I've got it here, but Googling bed tools should get you the information you need to download that. And so what I've been doing in this whole process is actually I've been copying all of the files, executables, and stuff for these programs into a bin folder that I made that's in my kind of user profile, and then I've set my path to run through there. So for a lot of these programs, I don't actually have to have the program in the same directory as I'm working in. And so just to show you that, if I want to look at that, I'll go to list out the contents. This tilde is just for the kind of going all the way up to the root directory or the very home directory. And then I'm going to look inside the bin directory that I made. And so this just shows all of these different executables basically that I've been packing in here. And then I set my path so that I can just call out these commands from whatever directory I'm working in. So the bed tools program is what we want, and it's going to be this BAM to bed command. So that's what we're going to actually use. So I'm going to go back just so I know what I'm needing to call out of this directory. So it's going to be this BAM file here. So I'm just going to go back and just show you what I would do here. So okay, BAM to bed. So this is what I need to give it. I'm not going to give it these. I need to give it the actual file name. But BAM to bed with option I. So capital T, option I, and then I am giving it the BAM file for this alignment. So give it that, and then you can see I've already done all these steps because I got the files. I'm just showing you how to do it, like how to enter it in. So I will, just so you can see that it actually works, I will give it the same name, but I'll give it like a _2, version 2 or whatever. So it's going to be ERR. So this is just naming the file that is to be generated. V2, and then it's going to be bed. Oh, I guess it didn't like my, maybe I can't do that. Oh, I see. Actually need to, forgot, I need to have this bed, I need to tell it it's a bed tools. Otherwise it won't know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm just going to get back where I can see. Okay. So again, I want this top file here, BAM to bed, okay. Bed tools, BAM to bed. BAM to bed. All right. I did this earlier and it worked fine. So let's see. BAM to bed. Oh, that's the problem. Gotta give it, this is to indicate the file to be created. So we're going to go v2 dot bed. There we go. All right. Geez, sometimes. And it takes a little bit of time. Okay, now we have it. So I'll just look, and yep, we made it. So we made our bed file. Now, the next step, and I actually found, and I don't have it on this computer because I'm using 2 different computers. And so on my desktop here is where I've got some other resources I found online. But to create a bigwig file, I needed a bedGraph file. So what we just created was a bed file, and a bed file is just quickly here. So a bed file gives coordinates of regions of genome. BedGraph files give coordinates of that same information, but an additional column can be a number. And so this number may help to show coverage depth of sequencing over a genome. So they're similar type of files, but to make the bigwig file, you have to make the bedGraph file, at least from the resources I looked at. That was the kind of workflow to make it. So now that we have our bed file, I'm going to look at the next step, bed to bedGraph. It's actually easy. We're just going to use a simple Unix command cut, and we're going to cut out basically from the file columns 1 through 3 and column 5, and then we're going to save that to our bedGraph file. So I'm going to cut 1 through 3 and 5. From our bedGraph file. Our bed file. And then we're going to save that as a bedGraph file. So we're going to just do it easier. So that's going to operate on that, cutting out the information. Now we should see that at version 2 bedGraph. Now the final step, well, bedGraph to bigwig. But to run this command, we actually need chromosome sizes. So we need to know the chromosome sizes from the reference genome that we're using. So in this case, I think we use the human genome version 38. And so to fetch those chromosome sizes, there's actually a program package called fetch chrome sizes. And this was in this Kent tools. I don't know. I don't think I actually have it up anymore. Anyways, yeah, I've not got it. At any rate, bedGraph to bigwig and fetch Chrome sizes. These are programs that you'll need to download and install to run this. But at any rate, the fetch Chrome sizes, once you get it installed, is a pretty simple task to run. So we're just going to enter in this line here, fetch Chrome sizes, and we're going to give it the version we want. And then we're going to call it something. So this program's actually doing under the hood, I actually have, yeah, I can show it to you. Got it here. So the program, so you actually install it as a shell script, and then you just call it from the terminal. What it's actually doing is all of this stuff, but it's taking it's connecting to an FTP, I guess, and downloading the information you want. So what all we're doing is just giving it some options. So we're going to call this HG38 V2 Chrome sizes. So it operates pretty quickly. We'll see if we've got it. Yep, just made that. So now I've got the chromosome sizes for the final step of converting the bedGraph to the bigwig. And so I'm going to run this bit of code. The bedGraph to bigwig, for some reason, when I tried running it with just the bedGraph to bigwig like that, it wasn't working. But I found one forum that mentioned try using this to run it in the current directory, and that seemed to make it work. So that's what I do. So bedGraph to bigwig, and then I want to give it the file, so I'll just give it one of these files that I've made. bedGraph. Oh yeah, I'll just give it the one that we actually made, v2 bedGraph. And then I'm going to give it the Chrome sizes. So this is the chromosome sizes that we actually pulled off with the fetch Chrome sizes command. So this will be human genome 38. And then the file, what we're going to call it. So we'll just call this version or v2 bigwig. And it's running overlapping regions in bedGraph line 2. That might be a problem. I don't know. But I've got our bigwig file now. So the final step, or the actual viewing this in the genome browser, requires you to host the files on a server or something, and then link to it in the genome browser, which I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So that'll be the next step. But this is at least the process following these 3 to 4 steps here to take a BAM file and convert it to a bigwig file that then would be used on the genome browser. All right. That is it. So hopefully that helps me in the future.